13,865. That's how many nuclear warheads have been deployed and stockpiled globally. More than 90% belong to Russia and the US, with about 1,000 more divided among 7 other nations. That might seem like a lot, but it's actually down from last year's estimate, and way down from a peak of about 70,000 warheads that existed in the 80s. These reductions are mainly thanks to arms control agreements between Russia and the US. The two countries have had some form of a weapons treaty since 1972, all meant to put the brakes on the arms race. About a year after the Cuban Missile Crisis brought the United States and the Soviet Union to the brink of nuclear war, the US first proposed that both countries freeze the number and type of nuclear weapons and defenses against them. This didn't happen until the first SALT, or Strategic Arms Limitation talks, concluded, a full decade after the crisis. In addition to a freeze on missile launchers, the two superpowers signed the Anti-Ballistic Missile Treaty, which severely limited the nuclear missile defenses each side could deploy. But the events of 9/11 showed that the security environment had changed. The US terminated the ABM agreement when it withdrew in 2002, citing the risk of, quote, terrorist or rogue state missile attacks. George W. Bush even dismissed the treaty as a remnant of the Cold War, which was, quote, long gone. But this may have been a step toward a renewed escalation. Putin called the move the beginning of, quote, the collapse of the international security system, and has directly tied modernization of Russia's nuclear forces to US ABM development. The next two agreements were the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty and the First Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty. The two agreements limited weaponry in different ways. The INF Treaty banned missiles with a range between 500 and 5,500 kilometers. This eliminated much of the nuclear arsenal the two countries had stationed in Europe. START 1 went further than SALT, setting a per-country maximum of 6,000 warheads deployed across 1,600 ICBMs, submarine-launched missiles, and heavy bombers. Both countries have now stopped abiding by the INF Treaty. The US accused Russia of deploying a non-compliant missile and suspended its treaty obligations in February. Russia followed suit. That leaves only one existing agreement that places limits on their nuclear weapons. It's called New START, and it's set to expire in 2021. And the US National Security Advisor has suggested that it won't be extended. Last year, the US officially changed its nuclear policy from reducing the number and role of nuclear weapons to developing new ones and even using them against non-nuclear attacks if necessary. And Russia continues to modernize its arsenal. If New START isn't extended in 2 years, Russia and the US will be able to produce and deploy as many warheads of any type as they wish. Countries that were never bound by such treaties like China, India, and Pakistan are also expanding their arsenals. A world of unrestricted nuclear competition may be finding its way back. One measure that the nuclear race is speeding up can be found in the so-called doomsday clock. In 1991, following the end of the Soviet Union, it was set at 17 minutes to midnight, or doomsday. Today, it is set at 2 minutes to midnight.